But that is what we're gonna have to deal with. Hey, Ghost! Good to see you again. Enjoy the frame drops. That means you need a little break. Yeah. Imagine your computer vision project. What a nightmare. Such a professional streamer, right? Well, you know, this is, at the very least, now we just have that little bit of thing over here. But that's in a corner, don't mind that. I'm gonna have to figure this out. For now, brew this decoction!
Covenarius spent half his life...
Good to see you again, Ghost.
Wild guess. Making a dose of resonance won't be easy.
You guessed correctly. In addition to Detlav's tissue, we shall need a powerful occipital lobe stimulant. Effectively a poison, to make one susceptible to visions.
Well, got a few ingredients to choose from. Unfortunately, all are pretty rare. There's Mamoon glands, but closest ones I know of are in Vizima. A spotted white saliva would also serve, but they were cold to extinction over a century ago. Could go with a kobold's eyes, but the creatures are sentient. Rather not gouge one's eyes out.
Given that we lack the time to sleuth this out ourselves, permit me to summon some help.
What was that?
A raven? Rather a common sight at this latitude. Very intelligent fowl. I asked him to look for the creatures you mentioned. Him and his brethren. Perhaps they'll find one in the area, and I would hazard that a flock of ravens will spy any said creature faster than a solitary witcher would. With all due respect to your skills, my friend. It will take them some time, nonetheless. So, perhaps you care for a snifter of mandrake.
Why, yes. Let's drink. Been busy lately? Yeah, Ghost. I've been keeping busy. Been trying to get my life back in order. You know, try to reprioritize. Well, for one, clean the place. It's been a mess here, but also just try and work things out as to, you know, the relationship I want between work and my own projects and streaming and. You know, so that's been keeping me quite busy. And I'm happy to finally be back here trying to finish this game. And drinking.
Rarely say no to a snifter.
Sadly, this is but a weak infusion rather than a proper distillate.
Even better. I remember your mandrake hooch. Made people say things they'd have rather kept to themselves.
Now, what could Geralt of Rivia prefer to keep to himself?
Oh, I want to talk. I want to see. I like the bond they have. The little bit of a friendship type of thing. Hey, I got a lot of secrets.
Everyone's got some secret.
I agree wholeheartedly. I also believe it wise at times to share one's secrets, unburden oneself to those one can trust.
This your sophisticated way of asking me if I trust you?
I prefer almost always to ask you directly. It seems a test of intelligence, one you just passed.
Maybe you should go first. Reveal one of your secrets. After all, you vampires lead very interesting lives.
Oh, don't you
Anything
just.
in particular interest you?
Yeah, where have you been? What have you been doing?
Curious what you did after you were reborn.
As I'm sure you can surmise, at first I was thoroughly absorbed with recovering. As it is, I've still not recovered completely. Yet I was so weak the first year that I could not stand or move on my own. Detlav bore my weakness bravely, showed great patience. If not for him, I wouldn't be here, and I'd have regenerated far slower. Once I could at last stand unassisted, I set off for Bruges, for my one-time home of Dillingen. There I led the peaceful life of a rural healer and surgeon, enjoying my neighbours' respect and, in fact, constituting the exact opposite of the monstrous vampire the populace imagines.
Bruges, you say? Rebirth make you sentimental?
Perhaps a dash. But what of you? Where have you been? Ever find your Cyrilla?
This is a great cutscene.
Back then, yeah. But we parted again soon after. And when the time was ripe, she came back. Defeated the Wild Hunt together.
Ooh. Seems I certainly missed quite a bit while I was absent.
True enough. But it's a conversation we'll have another time. Need to know more about you now.
Sorry, professional streamer, good to be here. Been busy, like, yeah. Hey Ghost, how are you doing? You been keeping yourself? And Ghost, what is it like being dead?
Gotta ask you the big question. One everyone wonders about. What happens after death?
You wish me to tell you if the human belief in the gods is well founded? Well, that I do not know. We vampires differ exceedingly from you humans. Our matter, that of which we are composed, can exist without form. We require neither a heart, nor a brain, nor air to breathe.
But were you dead?
As humans understand death, yes.
Feel anything? Understand anything?
It's rather hard to explain. I felt something very unsettling. Something I cannot even name, for I did no reasoning. Only after rebirth did I begin to understand that what I had felt was cold and unimaginable fear. If not for Detlef, I might have drowned in an eternity of icy
Wow, that's horrible if you imagine that.
Can't have been alive then. Sheesh, experience like that must be vicious.
Indeed, it's hard to compare to anything I know. Yet you are aware we don't see death as you do. The way you cling to life, we find it entirely peculiar. You are mortals, ergo it's a foregone conclusion. You will die. It's but a question of time. Thus, I often find myself wondering why you try so very hard. To die at 20 years, 40, even 100, what's the difference? They're all but the blink of an eye.
Depends on your point of view. Man who's got 1,000,000 crowns to spend can't possibly understand one who's only got 20.
Very true. One's outlook can indeed change much.
Though interesting enough, life is, by necessity, defined by the end of life, by death. If you didn't die, you weren't alive, so you wouldn't be able to understand life without the knowledge of death. It just wouldn't make sense. That's why we don't think of the uncountable things, the billions upon billions of things which don't exist because they don't exist. We can't think of them. Interesting stuff. It's not much. You having next week off? We'll take a break from work. Sounds like a good idea. That's what I've been enjoying for the past summer, but it is kind of time to get back to work.
Got a new life, new body. That give you a new start, blank slate?
Starting all anew is a very broad concept. What exactly do you mean?
Your blood addiction, say. Wondering if your body's the same, if it still remembers. Maybe if you drank now, you wouldn't get hooked.
All addictions are a form of slavery. Re-addiction's not a risk I'm willing to take, just to test a hypothesis about corporeal regeneration and whether propensities carry over.
Fair enough. Curiosity, that's all. Sorry.
Not to worry, Geralt. Curiosity is a natural reaction under the circumstances, apart from which I've always valued that trait in you.
What's regeneration like? Yeah.
Always fascinated me the way vampires can regenerate. A hand growing back is one thing, but Detlef recreating you out of a wet smear? Something else entirely.
A difficult and laborious process, but one that's possible, as my presence proves. But I've heard you too had quite the adventure. They say you lost your memory.
Oh yeah, that was Witcher 1 and 2.
For a bit, but Triss helped me get it back. Actually, pretty damn lucky I only had amnesia.
Yes, you humans are rather buggered in those terms. To strip you of life is, well, it's just plain easy. I've always pitied you in that regard. We vampires are much harder nuts to crack. If a member of another race kills one of us, we can be reborn with a living higher vampire's help. However, if one of our own strikes the deadly blow, death is permanent. There can be no rebirth. One of the chief reasons why vampires long ago swore never to fight one another.
Now, that rule is going to be broken. What is it again? Chekhov's rule of playwriting, which basically comes down to, if in Act 1 of the play there's a gun on the mantelpiece, in Act 3 that gun has to be fired. It's just a gun right here. Vampires have sworn never to fight each other. Hence, we're going to have to get that done.
All right, give you one question. What do you want to know?
One question to ask one as fascinating as you, Geralt. Cruel parsimony, I'd say, but I shall do my best to make it count. If you were to die and be reborn as I was, in your new life, would you choose to be a Witcher?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be a Witcher.
See, Regis. Doubt I'd know how to be anything else.
Ever tried?
See, you're determined to get an answer, to find out if I like being a Witcher. Just refuse to ask directly, as always. I like being on the path. I like picking up a lead, a trail. I like the tension right before a fight. And nothing gets my adrenaline flowing like battling a beast. Even gotten used to people treating me like a freak, an outcast. Yeah, not something I think about much, but I like being a Witcher.
Thank you for being honest. Honesty is an attribute of the truly brave, and thus a privilege of the very few.
Still no sign of your winged friend. Sure it understood what you wanted?
Dead certain. Let's wait a bit longer. It'll return soon, don't doubt that for a moment.
I like him. He's well written, I think. I like his phrasings. He's eloquent yet plain spoken at the same time.
Ever vigilant, even in his sleep. Quite vampire-like, in fact. Are you absolutely certain they don't administer a few of our genes during the trial of the grasses?
I appreciate the compliment.
Appreciate the compliment. Got something for me?
You were right. No kobolds or mamoons for miles around.
Knew it.
Allow me to finish. You see, there's this spotted white. It haunts an abandoned residence.
That's the residence!
In the Woods.
That's the quest!
My brethren hunted down every last
Yes!
spotted white before I was born.
Then it seems you must revise your knowledge of spotted whites. For somehow this one managed to survive your brethren's onslaught.
The quest, the quest!
It
Yes!
seems I know this home it haunts. Recall a tale about it. Locals believe the place cursed. Perhaps that's how the whites survived entirely unmolested.
Know anything else about it?
Whites rarely appear in the woods, even less likely to find them in abandoned human homes. They inhabit remote wildernesses, old abandoned cemeteries.
What's your point?
This might not be a spotted white after all. Your little helper might have made a mistake.
I sincerely doubt it. Ravens are devilishly intelligent creatures, and they've highly developed observational skills.
What exactly did they observe?
The area around the estate, it's covered in spoons.
Yes,
Spoons.
that's what I
Spare me
found.
the skeptical smile. I'm but the bearer of this news. Or perhaps this spotted white is a hoarder. Or the
Golden
spoons are
spoon.
somehow related to the curse.
Is this about a curse?
Know anything else about this curse?
I don't recall much in particular. Really don't attach much importance to such things. It was mentioned to me as an anecdote, no more.
Come on, search your memory. Something, anything could be important.
I believe it had a relation to hunger, or perhaps greed, rapacity. Someone was punished for something.
Textbook definition of a curse, pretty much.
Sorry, Geralt, I try not to clutter my mind with the details of every far-fetched tale I happen to hear. What are your thoughts?
A specimen of a species thought long extinct. And a curse. in one place.
Can't go wrong with
That a
spoons.
coincidence?
Absolutely.
Or are they related?
Ah, professional curiosity. Personally, I've nothing against you delving into this dilemma, but please remember we need the white's saliva. Nothing beyond that.
Time to visit a white.
Let's do this. Start making your decoction while I go get some saliva from that white. Uses it in its brews.
Do you imagine the white will simply sell you some?
Worst case
Sure.
scenario, I'll bring you its salivary glands. They ought to do as well.
For a moment there, I imagined you asking the white to spit into a vial. Quite amusing as a thought, but the salivary glands will do fine indeed.
So, see you later.
Yes, till later. I shall start by perusing some tomes.
Tomes? Thought you were gonna make this decoction.
We require one last ingredient. Alas, obtaining it could prove a trifle toilsome. Thus, I hope to identify a suitable alternative.
All right.
So good.
luck.
And to you, my friend.
Read. It's interesting. Read the bestiary to learn more about spotted whites. They live on the Isle of Wight. Necrophage? Really now? Best defense against spotted whites? Stay calm and leave them alone. Spotted whites were subspecies of white which witches drove to extinction. They were larger than our unspotted kin and owed their names to their numerous blotches and effusions. Spotted whites would most often dwell in derelict cemeteries and empty wildernesses, yet at times took to living in abandoned human domiciles. There they would indulge in their greatest passion, creating brews from their own emissions. Yeah, I don't want any white effluvia. When not disturbed, spotted whites would not act aggressively. If threatened, however, they became very dangerous indeed. Colder ones, when faced with an unseasonable chill, they would slip into a state of lethargy, making them easy targets. Even during their active periods, it is said the witches found a fine way of besting them, based on careful casting of the Erden sign. Or at least, so claims Witcher lore. I'm thinking Northern Wind Potion should be good as well. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk there. Panther, I don't wanna deal with you. I'm gonna walk over there and then meditate to get rid of the toxicity. That panther seemed to be a little bit insane. And also replenish all my spells and so on. And then we can get going, unless it's too far away. How far? Yeah, it's quite a while away. Sorry. Oh. Ew. Caraberta Woods. There we go. Already getting more ominous. There we go. We found the howling.
How you like that silver?
I like it very much. Thank you for asking. I don't want to.
Never a good omen.
Hold on, that was. They were not here just now. Barghest, aren't they cursed ones? No. They weren't necrophages. Spectres? Yes, they were specters. Spectre oil and moon dust. There we go, Spectre oil. Let's deal with this Barghest. Whoa. At least this explains the baying of the hounds. And here I was talking about meditating. Which I cannot do now. Great. Let's... In that case, roll with the punches. I'm sure we can hold out longer if we... Actually... I have white honey, don't I? There we go. Okay. Get back here. So what's up with the hounds? Hounds baying, hunting lodge, curse to do with possible greed. Oh wow. Guess we're finding the source of all this baying. Fellas. Not a big fan of all of you ganging up on me. Oh. Do you have any rusty spoons? There we go. Atmosphere reminds you of the Hounds of the Baskervilles. The Hound of the Baskervilles, yeah. Yeah, you know, up out on the moors, mists. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, the swamp-like area.
Strange. Get a sense that the spoons are beating out some kind of rhythm. A message. Trying to tell me something.
Yeah, get out. I know how this goes. That's not a spoon, that's a ladle.
None shall sit and dine with you at your table. No spoon you have shall say to you, never again shall you wish to spy your reflection in the mirror. Sounds like a curse, all right.
Something like a Midas curse.
Somebody's clearly obsessed. Regis mentioned the place might be cursed. Can't be a coincidence. Need to look around.
Ah, oh, the atmosphere. So good. Look for the white slayer. Yeah, surprise, surprise, it's gotta be inside.
What a pigsty. Need to search it thoroughly. Find a way to collect some white saliva.
Yeah, it's gonna be on
White's
spoons.
obsessed. A real collector. Thoroughbred.
It's over there.
Spoon. Pretty ordinary. Maybe a little old.
I'll look in this direction first, maybe.
No spoon you have shall say to you. Whatever lives here treated that literally. Still searching for the right spoon.
You know what? I'm gonna go in there. Nice. So nice.
Spoon's incredible. The craftsmanship. Must have graced a rich man's table.
I love how I already walked into that one man first. The little message of, the message of, oh, it's my precious spoon, and I must find it back, to introduce this to us so that later we get that foreshadowing. For a few days now, I've been having dizzy spells. I've never experienced anything like this before. If it carries on, although I can't stand witchcraft and sorcery, I'll have to visit a herbalist. Dizziness has not gone away. Worst of all, it's been joined by pain so strong that at times I cannot see. I've been to the herbalist. Her repulsive old crone looked at me like she had seen a monster. She gave me some cursed mixture that I have to drink twice a day. It's not helping at all. Today, like every day, I looked in the mirror and I was lost for words. She checked that I don't have any wrinkles or bags in my ass, but today, there are no wrinkles, but I'd rather there were. I have hair growing on my breasts. It's horrible. It's got to be because of those damn herbs. I went to the herbalist to smash her face in, but her chambers were empty. She must have known what would happen to me and legged it. My family's starting to suspect something, though I'm cutting the hair back, it's growing back faster and faster. Tried to put the idea out of my head, but I can't hold it back any longer. Maybe it wasn't the herbs that led to this, but a curse placed upon me by an old beggar whom I had to chase off one time. I have to find out. I want to hire someone who can find the herbalist. Kind of thinking's getting hard to write. Loneliness. No family. Eat. I want to eat. Look at spoon. Empty spoons. Nothing. Eat. It hurts. Mirror. Lies. No! Ah!
Poor girl. Realized she was changing into a monster. Recorded it in her diary. Poignant.
Oh, Geralt. You're a literary critic now? Also, who takes the time to write down, ah?
Smashed mirror. As if someone couldn't stand to look at themselves. The monster. Journal's author, maybe?
This is such an atmospheric place.
Another spoon. Yep, just as normal as the last one.
Seriously, this would be the creepiest place to walk around in real life.
A spoon key.
Spontaneous profits?
Crafting. Tag bears a description. White's a true collector.
This certifies the item up for auction. An antique spoon key forged at Christopherson and Sons workshop in 1210. Belongs to Smeagol Circus. Smeagol! Owner of the pheasantry. Nice. Spontaneous profits. 42. We can leave that for a while. Let's head back to the main quest.
None shall sit and dine with you at your table. No spoon you have shall sate you. Never again shall you wish to spy your reflection in the mirror. White's obsessed. A real collector. Thoroughbred.
This is just so much Blair Witch Project.
Skeletons. Doubt they came here willingly. This have anything to do with the curse? None shall sit and dine with you at your table. It makes sense.
Trying to force them to sit and dine with you.
Right arm bit right off. Teeth all knocked out. Somebody tried to force feed him.
In hopes that that would end the curse. Be creepy for all sporks. Oh yeah.
Broken neck. Indentation in the skull's lateral surface. Smacked in the head with something heavy. No claw or fang marks. Probably choked to death.
Am I gonna have a dinner party with this?
Woman's name scratched into this wooden spoon. Romantic.
Dear Master Levasseur, I know you track outlaws for pay. I have an unusual assignment for you. No doubt you wonder why I've drawn you out here. Where can I meet in person? As of the person with whom I meet, for I am afflicted by a curse, or side effects of medicine given me by a herbalist. Ah, this is the monster. Paying somebody else to track down the herbalist. Soon after I visited this herbalist, she disappeared without trace. I wish to hire you to find her, learn as